Hello, everyone. Welcome. We'll just wait 1 or 2 minutes here. Thank you to those who are on time for the Woodland webinar series, transitioning to unaccompanied programs and a spotlight on stepping stones. I see we have 5 people in the chat, or 5 people in the call, with a few more coming in. Wait 1 to 2 minutes here. Okay. We'll get started because I want to respect everyone's time and thank you so much for joining us. My name's Charlie. I am the head of school of Woodland Pak Phulam and also Woodland Kennedy Town. So 2 campuses out of our 6. Yeah, we do have some people coming in the lobby, and that's fine. They'll join us as they come in. I also play a role in the development of education at Woodland. A few of my colleagues are on this call, which we'll introduce before we begin. But I just want to thank each and every one of you for attending. Hope you're having a good Friday. And I am going to talk to everyone today about our Stepping Stones program, which is the first of our unaccompanied programs at Woodland. And I'm also going to talk to you about just some considerations, tips, and strategies for basically transitioning from an accompanied playgroup environment to an unaccompanied environment. And before I continue, I just want to position this by, we have various people on this call. We have people that are outside of our Woodland community, external families that aren't already enrolled at Woodland. And we also have some families that are enrolled at Woodland that are in our younger accompanied program. So this session is designed to be, I'm going to take a kind of a something for everyone approach so that everybody can take something away from this. And, of course, whether you're with us already or you're not with us and you want to find out more after this session, you can reach out to our inquiry or admissions teams and get more information. So everybody's mic is muted. My other colleagues will turn on their camera when it's time for them to introduce and talk. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can feel free to type in the chat, and we do have somebody monitoring, so there'll be a little Q&A session at the end. Okay, so like I said, I'm Charlie. I'm the head of school here at Woodland for Pak Phulam and Kennedy Town. I'm going to introduce my other colleagues. The other colleague I have on this call is Michelle Choi. Michelle, do you want to introduce yourself? Michelle, I think you're muted.
Thank you, Charlie. Hi, everyone. I am Michelle Choi, the Mandarin coordinator among Woodland Preschools, and I'm here to answer your question, and feel free to drop your question in the chat box after Mr. Charlie presents. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. And we also have our other colleague on this call is on the admissions and marketing team, and that would be Daniela. Danny, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Michelle. Happy Friday, everyone. My name is Daniela, and I am the Communications and Admissions Manager. So if you do have any questions about admissions, we will also briefly be going through that towards the end. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Daniela. All right, and we still have other people joining us. Welcome, everyone, to those who joined us. We just kind of positioned this session. Again, this is about transitioning to an unaccompanied environment in school and a spotlight on our Stepping Stones program at Woodland Preschools. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So basically, at Woodland, as I said, our Stepping Stones program is very monumental. This is the first time that a child is in our Woodland Journey is enrolled or is without a caregiver. You know, most of our children, whether you're already with us, you're in a play group or a Wrigglers, Rollers class, but it's the first time where it's a drop-off pickup program, 5 days a week from Monday to Friday. There's a lot of considerations that come with that. Sometimes a little bit of anxiety, which is totally normal for parents and caregivers, and we're here to support that transition and to support you in those feelings. And, you know, so much development happens at this age. So I'm going to play a little video here. This is just going to give you a nice little glimpse of what a day in the life is like at Woodland in our Stepping Stones class. So here it goes.
刷刷刷刷牙，谢谢佩秋，谢谢追。
All right. Thank you. And thank you to I hope you enjoyed that. We still have people logging onto the call. Yeah, that's a sweet little video. And that does give you a glimpse. I'll talk about some of the components that you just saw. I do apologize. I noticed that a day in Stepping Stones was centered in the screen, the text. I hope that didn't distract too much from the lovely content. But yeah, it really is. It's an important year of growth, and we work on all areas of development, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. So again, I know some others just joined us on the call. Welcome. We have families from outside of our community and inside already enrolled at Woodland. So I hope this session is valuable to you. Okay, I'm just going to quickly talk a little bit about our Woodland Journey. So the Woodland Journey represents, it's everything that we do. It's everything that we provide. It's the support that we give children and parents. And it's a journey for every child, every family, and every staff member. really. So the first 3 stages of our Woodland Journey are accompanied programs. So all the way on the left side, this little hedgehog, you have the rollers, 6 to 12 months. Then following up with the squirrels, wrigglers, 12 to 18 months. And then the bunny rabbits, playgroup, 18 months to 2 years old. These 3 programs are accompanied. That means a caregiver is with the child. You know, the classes occur at different times. There's a bit more flexibility. Rollers class is 1 hour, wrigglers is 1.5 hours, and playgroup is 2 hours. Okay, and it's obviously very fun. It's focused on learning how to learn, right? Taking advantage of this critical period for development and learning and all the brain activity that's going on and just having fun. Sensory development, music and movement, storytelling, small group exploration, all kinds of fun stuff with a caregiver so that the child is building confidence, building security, and understands that associates a very positive experience with learning at a very young age. So these 3 programs are accompanied by a caregiver. And what these are doing is it's preparing our children for unaccompanied programs. So you can see up here this deer, the 4th stage of the Woodland Journey is what this session is really about, stepping stones. This is the first time that children, you know, after playgroup, that it's a drop-off pickup program. So no moms, no dads, no aunties, no grandparents, you know, it's like real school for the first time. And, you know, it's amazing. The growth that I see, certainly as a principal and in all my years of experience working with early years, is amazing. You know, they come into this program as, you know, big babies, right? And I don't mean that negatively. I mean that like they're ready to learn, they're ready to explore, but they're not yet, you know, they haven't really learned or acquired the skills of independence and really being by themselves. But when they lead this program, they're all grown up. You know, they're big boys and girls, and they're ready for preschool. So the Stepping Stones class is 5 days a week from Monday to Friday. Like I said, it's a 3-hour program from 9 to 12. And we're fostering the skills of independence. Language development is huge at these age. Children are learning how to express themselves, and the teachers are encouraging that. Physical development, you see a massive growth. Self-help skills, using the toilet for the first time by themselves, washing their hands, having snack. And then the basic routines and rituals that really highlight this program. So that kind of drop-off pickup routine, putting our bag on the hook, taking our water bottle out, and getting into our routines and rituals of class. So then after Stepping Stones, we do have preschool programs and prep for primary. I can tell you a little bit about those maybe in another session, or if you want to come take a tour of our school, you can hear more about that. Okay, so just very quickly, Woodland, our teaching, our philosophy, we want to give children agency, and we want to encourage them to take charge of their own learning. And that's certainly apparent in Stepping Stones. So if they have agency, meaning if they have the confidence and the free will to explore different experiences, we want them, we live in a world now where we're developing skills that are really important for the modern world. It's not just about remembering things or being told what to do or following kind of rote instructions. It's about being empowered and being independent and taking charge of our own learning. So we really believe in play-based, authentic learning experiences where children have agency and they're curious. We're really developing that sense of curiosity. Something that we talk about often at Woodland is the environment as the third teacher. So what this means is the teachers use the environment to our advantage. So inherently, it means things like, yes, sustainability, having more natural objects and materials in the classroom, designing setups for play that are very intentional and very engaging, and thinking, if I'm a child and I walk into this space, what am I seeing? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? Right? So the teachers, we do a lot of training on how we can leverage the environment to create calmness to help children self-regulate and to help them engage in very powerful play. So these are just some photos you can see on the screen of different parts of our environment and really around the school as well, not just in the classrooms. But we do incorporate a lot of natural materials, a lot of different textures, loose parts, things for open-ended play, everything of this nature. You know, nature inspires beauty as well. And then, so a big thing, so I just want to say, I mean, Woodland, for those of you who don't know, you know, we follow the early years foundation stage, which is the EYFS. This focuses on 7 areas of child development. It's really just a framework for child development. And it's guidance with development milestones. And we use those milestones to basically, this is how we use this to track our children's learning, right? But our curriculum is play-based inquiry, and we have a program of inquiry where we use concepts to help learn. So things like community, things like culture, right? Change over time. How do we make these concepts that are big, broad, and universal very applicable to the children and age appropriate? You know, asking questions, working in teams. You know, at Stepping Stones, this is the first time, you know, they're really developing powerful friendships and bonds with their classmates. They start holding their hands with each other as they walk to the toilet, right? Getting in, you know, and again, using their language to express themselves, their thoughts, their opinions, their ideas. I mean, this is a big part of the Stepping Stones environment. And of course, a culture of care. This is the most important thing. I mean, at Woodland Schools, safeguarding and health and safety are top priorities. Certainly safeguarding from a well-being perspective, health and safety from more of a kind of facility and preventing accidents perspective. But every campus has a safeguarding lead, and we actually teach safety in the curriculum. So one thing that we have is our protective behaviors program. And these are age-appropriate safety messages that we teach to children, learning about our feelings, right? Learning about who we can talk to if we need support. Who are our heroes, right? How do we recognize unsafe situations? So these types of things are also woven into our curriculum. And another big part of the Stepping Stones class is Smart Steps. So a big thing about Smart Steps is basically, you know, they're developing fast, but children's gross and fine motor skills need a lot of stimulation, and we're building skills in Stepping Stones that are helping them for later on. Things like writing, holding a pencil properly, developing shoulder strength, right? Developing core strength. So Smart Steps basically is a program that's learning through movement. So we have different types of games and activities that are very purposeful that the teachers incorporate in the Stepping Stones classes that teach learning through movement and teach different concepts through movement. So within these concepts and within these games, children develop large and small muscle capacities to really, you know, automate their movements and help them be ready for preschool. And it's just fun. Exercise is awesome. Okay, so like I said, Stepping Stones is really the first time that this is kind of like real school. So a child can join Stepping Stones when they're 2 years old. Just a quick point of order. So that's actually the rule in Hong Kong. Children can be in a proper unaccompanied program when you're 2 years old. And you know, for our Stepping Stones classes, we actually have a 1-to-8 student-teacher ratio. So there's 2 teachers in the class. The class is led by an English teacher, and then there's a Mandarin-speaking teaching assistant. So there is an element of Mandarin that's a part of the Stepping Stones, program. And we call it environmental Mandarin. So again, led by an English teacher, but there's Mandarin in the environment spoken by the Mandarin teaching assistant. And together, these 2 adults take care of the children and plan and execute the lessons and really, get the most out of the class with the children. And so, you know, on average, depending, you know, you could be maybe 12 to 14. Typically, the maximum class size is 16. But, you know, our classrooms are very large and spacious and easy access to the toilets, etc. So, again, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 9 to 12. 2 teachers in the class, 3 hours, promoting independence, promoting language development, really focusing on those prime areas of the EYFS: language, personal, social, emotional, and physical development through SMART steps. We have a lot of communication because, again, you're not there anymore. You know, this is the first time where you're dropping your children off and saying goodbye. So there's lots of ways to connect with us. We have 2 major platforms that you can expect to get feedback through via our Stepping Stones program. So one of those platforms you can see on the screen on the left side is Illumine. This is actually our student information system. So every family at Woodland gets access to Illumine, and you can use this to communicate directly with the teachers or with our admin team. Our teachers take attendance on Illumine, so you can get a notification when your child has checked in and checked out of class. We post photos on Illumine. We post our newsletters on Illumine. So this is like your centralized portal for communication and just keeping up to date with everything that's going on. On the right side, we have something called Tapestry. Tapestry is a platform that we use to basically keep an individualized portfolio of the children's development. So every family gets access to their own Tapestry accounts, and the teachers post observations on a weekly basis about the children. Right. And they might post class photos or special event photos like Halloween celebration or outdoor going to the park. But typically Tapestry is used for observations about growth. What are your children learning? How are they learning it? And how can we take that learning forward? So you'll get photos, media, and communication from the teachers. So there's lots of regular feedback. Of course, you can always call and email. You know, our teachers will this is a lot of families feel a lot of anxiety before they start Stepping Stones because, you know, their child's never been in an unaccompanied class before. So there is a transition process and tips for that. And I'll talk about that here in a second. But the other ways that we track progress throughout the year, because the Stepping Stones year is we start our academic year in August and we end in June. You know, you're really on a full academic year calendar, and we have 3 terms at Woodland. So August to December is term 1, January to March is term 2, and April to June is term 3. Okay, so there's 3 terms. When your child turns 2 years old, you would join Stepping Stones. So if you turn 2 years old in November of this, November of this year, 2022, you could join in November, and then you would stay in Stepping Stones until the end of this academic year, right? If you were to turn to, say, March 2023, this coming March, your child would join Stepping Stones in March 2023. If you wanted, you know, they could stay in playgroup an extra month or 2, but we encourage them to promote because the curriculum's age appropriate. And then they would be in Stepping Stones from March 2023 until June 2023. And then they would do Stepping Stones again to get a full year in from August 2023. So it depends on your date of birth. We have 2 reports throughout the year. So we have a mid-year report and an end-year report. So you'll get official progress reports about how your children are doing. And then we have 2 learning conferences, one in term 1 that happens in October, and then one in term 2, which happens in March. So again, many touch points throughout the year to get updates on progress. Okay, what to bring, right? Some of you probably are in this call, you're already enrolled in our Stepping Stones class and you haven't started yet. You want to get an idea. So the basic things. In your backpack, you know, you get a little Woodland backpack. Children will bring a water bottle every day with their name on it. They'll bring a healthy snack, nut-free for allergy purposes. They have their backpack, spare change of clothes, spare nappies if they're still wearing nappies in the beginning of the year, especially when they're learning, you know, toilet training. And parents, caregivers will get a lanyard, and it'll be like a blue lanyard, and you'll use that when you want to pick up your child so we know who you are for safeguarding. But that's basically what you bring. Also, you'll have a pair of indoor shoes that you keep at school. So typically at our campuses, children, they come into the common areas, with their outdoor shoes. And then that's part of their morning routine. They'll take off their shoes. They'll put on their indoor shoes, which are kept at school. They take off their backpack. They say hello to their teachers. They put the backpack on the hook. They take their water bottle out. They put that in the tray, right? And then they engage in the small group activities as everybody's kind of welcoming and coming into the class. Okay, so speaking of transition, right? This is a big thing, and this is a big focus actually of this session as well. So the transition for stepping stones is something that we're very sensitive to. You know, I've worked in early years for over 10 years. I love early childhood development. I love safeguarding. I love just helping children fulfill their potential, and especially here in Hong Kong. And for stepping stones, you know, I have definitely comforted some parents who have been upset because they're nervous. They're nervous about the transition, and that's totally normal. So yeah, we have a transition period. So this is something that we've crafted with our team. We've found a lot of success with this, by the way. So it looks something like this. Let's say you're joining Stepping Stones, I don't know, upcoming in January to start term 2. Let's visualize your first week. And again, this isn't compulsory, but it is highly recommended. And your head of school at your campus would send you an email with a slide deck, need to know information, and information about the transition. But basically how it works is the first 2 days are with a caregiver, right? So probably mom or dad, just so you can really have a good idea of what the class is going to be like. But you can accompany your child on the first 2 days for 1 hour only. And the reason for that is we want to slowly, basically integrate you into the class, integrate your child into this environment. We want them to associate this feeling of safety in this new place with these new people, with these new friends, but with you there, you know, to support them. So we can create that psychological safety, and then you yourself can get a great idea of, okay, this is what the class is going to be like. These are the teachers, right? These are some of the friends in the class. This is what some of the routines and rituals will start to look like. So it just kind of gives you, it just gives you a feeling of comfort as a caregiver, but also your children, you know, they slowly get integrated as well. So the concept is the first 2 days are accompanied with a parent for an hour. The next 2 days after that would be the children are not with a caregiver anymore, and it would be for an hour and a half, right? And then the next 2 days after that, it would be 3 hours. So basically, essentially, the transition program is, the concept behind it is integration. At first, there's caregiver involvement. We slowly decrease caregiver involvement over time and increase the amount of time that a child is in the class, you know, by his or herself. And just saying, we found a lot of success with this. Not everyone does it. You know, you don't have to do the whole week. If you find that your child is transitioning really well in the first like 2 days, you know, we can work with you as a head of school. You know, we can talk about it, play it by ear more or less. I do highly recommend the first 2 days of being there with your child. But you know, some children take the whole week, and some need even a little bit longer, right? Or some are a little bit faster. So that's the basic transition period that we offer. And there's other tips and tricks too, by the way. So like some of the things that you can do at home, you can have pep talks with your children about what's coming. Children need predictability. They need routines. You know, they need to be able to visualize what's coming next. And if they know that at that drop off, you're going to give them a hug, maybe a little kiss, you're going to say goodbye and you're going to leave, but you're going to come back and pick them up. If they can make that connection and they know that's a safety connection that they're forming and that they trust, it's going to make life so much easier for your child because they have that predictability. So you can say things like, you know, mommy's going to drop you off. You're going to love school. You're going to play. You're going to go on the playground. You're going to see your friends. You're going to sing and dance with your teachers. It's going to be so much fun. You know, if you say things like this to to basically instill that sense of confidence and that sense of safety, children will definitely, they'll pick up on it. If you're very anxious, you know, if you're very inconsistent with the drop-off routine, that children also pick up on this as well. And you can pass some of that anxiety down to your children. So be consistent, have a stable pickup and drop-off routine, give pep talks. Other strategies include reading stories about transitioning to school. There are some really good books out there. You know, you could easily Google. I have tons that are really good. You know, there will be contact points if you ever want to reach out. We can share some of those titles. Other things that I've done, let's say the transition is taking a little bit longer. Photos. So photos of the teachers, you know, you can show your children these photos at home. Like, these are these safe people that are here to take care of you, right? And they have so much fun with you. Some other things are photos of the children happy in the class, right? And these are things that the teachers can share with you. Maybe they have a comfort item, a teddy bear that they sleep with that they love, and it just makes them feel comfortable and secure to bring that teddy bear to class, at least for the first couple of days or weeks. That's okay too. So there's many different strategies. Okay, toileting. First and foremost, all of our staff are intimate care trained. You know, Woodland's a safeguarding school. We have a safeguarding lead at every campus. And like I said, safeguarding is about well-being. It's about helping children, you know, supporting children through if they're going through a traumatic situation, or if it's training staff, right? There's many things that go into safeguarding, but intimate care falls under this umbrella. So all of our staff are intimate care trained, you know, changing a nappy through using correct hygienic protocols. And basically, a lot of the times it's our school helpers are super helpful, and they're definitely going through training as well, or the teaching assistant, or, you know, we work together as a team. But listen, most children, if not all, come into the Stepping Stones class, they're not potty trained. This is a big part of Stepping Stones, right? Potty training, self-help, self-care, you know, learning how to take care of our belongings, learning how to go to the bathroom, learning how to wash our hands, how to feed ourselves, how to do these kind of basic life skills. And that's why it's such a powerful program, and so great in preparation for preschool. So home and school are a team on toilet training. We have other different strategies as well. What we try to do is we try to have frequent toileting times. So we have a consistent toileting schedule. Even if the children don't have to go, we'll ask them if they have to, or we might take them to the potty so they can have a seat. You know, they may not have to go, but they need to associate safety with the potty. And it's okay if they make a mistake. It's okay if they wet their nappy. You know, this is a process. There's no magic bullet. It's not just, oh, you need to be this by this certain time. It's a process, and every child's different. So developing the vocabulary to associate with the sensation, telling their teachers they have to go to the bathroom, right? This is a step. Understanding that the potty's our friend. You know, we love the potty. Things you can do at home. You know, I've heard of parents, caregivers, they go to the bathroom with the door open so children can see, oh, mommy and daddy uses the potty. This is a very normal, happy thing. I can do this too, right? So there's different strategies, and you know, different families and children are at different paces in their progress here, but we'll work with you certainly, and patience, absolutely. I talked a little bit about separation anxiety, routines, and rituals. I mean, a big part of Stepping Stones, so there's a circle time, usually a song and dance, storytelling with the English teacher, and some in Mandarin as well. There's small group time where children can explore the environment and the different activities in the class. Again, using their agency and their curiosity, and we guide them and talk to them and create a very language-rich experience. There's also snack time. Children bring their own snack. You know, snack time ritual is really lovely. Playground time, whether there's outdoor play or soft play or different play environments, right? And of course, toileting times and getting ready to go home. So that's kind of a basic rundown of the schedule. And I just want to say, like, you're not alone in feeling anxious about the transition. There's many concepts that I've touched on that I can easily talk more about. And, you know, families have different feelings about this, and we're very professional, very supportive. Our teachers are very experienced. We're here to help. You know, we're here to support you. That's a big part of our job. So Home and school are partners in your child's education, and the more in sync we are and transparent we are with each other, and that includes our feelings about how things are going, the better, the more we're going to get out of your child's development. Okay, and then last, before I pass this over a little bit to Daniela, I didn't talk about preschool much. The session wasn't really about that, but our preschool programs are from 3 to 5 years old. We have different streams for preschools. We have bilingual English and Mandarin. We have an all English preschool stream at some of our schools, even all Mandarin, right? Or English with maybe 30 minutes of Mandarin. There's different options for different families, but yeah, the preschool classes are really powerful as well. Stepping Stones is great preparation for preschool. At my 2 campuses, we have bilingual programs for preschool. So there's an English and a Mandarin teacher in the class at the same time for the full 3 hours. And children have access to English and Mandarin for the full 3 hours. But yeah, I mean, the teachers, they plan together, they observe together, they report progress together, and we really take this concept-based learning to the next level. I just very quickly, you know, we live in a world now where it's not about just remembering things. It's not about, we need to be able to think flexibly. You know, we live in a world where information's everywhere. But what are we doing with that information? How are we adapting our thinking? How are we coming up with new ideas? How are we working together in teams, communicating effectively, having emotional intelligence? These soft skills are things that we really emphasize in Stepping Stones, but really in preschool. And then, of course, these are coupled with the hard skills of English, math, literacy, phonics, reading, right? Chinese characters, character recognition, stroke and posture. All these hard skills as well are also a big focus, and they complement each other. So I have a little slide here about our primary school statistics from the most recent. Our children go to great primary schools in Hong Kong. They're well prepared for primary school and for life. Right. You can just see there's probably a lot here that you're familiar with. Certainly a lot of families elect to go to ESF, a lot of Hong Kong International, Canadian school, schools with strong Mandarin programs like ISF, Hong Kong Academy, Chinese International School, etc. Kellett is popular too on the west side of some of my campuses, ESF Kennedy School. But I don't know if I mentioned this in the beginning, but Woodland Preschools is a part of the Cognitive family. So Woodland, we've been in Hong Kong for over 40 years. You know, we're originally for over 40 years. We have a long tradition here. The community is what makes us special. We've never lost that, but we were over the last 3 years, we joined the Cognitive School Group family. And they're a global school group that has schools around the world. And what that gives us is a really wonderful network, support, resources, expertise, collaboration opportunities. We do have a sister school here in Hong Kong, Stanford American School, and our Woodland children have priority for that as well. So if you want to find out more about that, there's sessions, there's, you know, I'm always happy to chat about that. But yeah, point is, you have options. We're going to support you. We're going to support the admissions process for any primary school. Children go to schools at different times. So yeah, we're here to help. And I'm going to stop there. I just want to thank everybody. I am going to pass it over. We're almost done. There's just 1 or 2 slides on admissions and a promotion for those who are outside of our Woodland community. So I'll stop talking now. I'll pass it over to Danny. Thank you.
Hi, Charlie. Thank you so much. That was so informative and beautifully done. And thank you to all the parents for sticking with us. I want to speak to you a little bit about our admissions process. Now, for the families that are with us today, who are currently enrolled and currently have your children with us, rest assured that our admissions team and our head of schools will be reaching out to help you to go on to the next level and guide you with the phase forms, with the phase progression forms, and they will help you to go on to the Stepping Stones program. Now, for our families who are not currently enrolled, we do welcome you to visit our website. All our applications are done online. So you can visit woodlandschools.com and you can apply there. Now, if it is your first time visiting our website or visiting our school, we ask that you register and then you can log in once again to fill out your application. If you have already registered with us, you will be able to see your previous applications or start a new application. So again, if you go to woodlandschools.com, top right-hand corner, you will see that it says apply now. Now, you also do have the option to book a tour or a trial. But if you'd like just to have admissions reach out to you, if you'd like more information, you can click the apply now after registering. Our admissions team will get back to you within 24 hours. And that way you can work on a schedule, see what fits best for you, and then we can work on an offer. Again, if you do have any other questions about our programs or about our school, anytime you submit an application, we will be reaching out so we can also handle any questions that you may have then. And also you can save your applications there and always come back to it later. Also, for those of you that are attending today, you will have your registration fee waived. So if you do your application online, you can skip the payment. And for all our families that are joining us today, you are all invited to see our promotions that we have. We do have quite a bit. So for example, it is the holiday season. We know that many families are traveling and they have plans. So we do have a special promotion for this seasonal promotion. If your child is enrolled in our winter camp, we also have a promotion for that. And we also have one for January. So depending on your schedule, your timing, we have different options, and that's something you can also ask about when you speak with admissions. You can visit our website, or you can also call us at 2526-9478, and that is our admissions hotline. And once again, thank you all for being with us today and going through the Stepping Stones program. And yeah, we hope to hear from you soon. Please feel free to leave all your questions, your comments in the chat. We are happy to go over them with you right now. Thank you, Charlie.
Thanks, Daniela. So I'm just curious. We did say there'd be a little Q&A. Michelle's been monitoring the chat. Were there any questions that anybody had that I could answer? Or was there one or two that came up often?
Yes. Thank you, Charlie and Daniela. So there is a question. There are some questions right here. So I'm going to read it. So the question is, what sorts of activity children would be doing? What would they learn? And what's the work cycle look like in the classroom?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. So like I said, we explore different concepts and also we explore concepts in the Stepping Stones class. So concepts like community, like different cultures, and we use the children's inquiries to help guide their understanding of those concepts. And there's content goals that sit underneath those concepts. But through this, they're obviously learning a lot of language. They are learning basic math, they're coming to terms with language in terms of mark making, developing their motor skills for early writing. And also, as I mentioned, the EYFS, so the early years foundation stage. So there's goals, there's child development goals that sit within these areas of language, of physical development, and personal and social emotional development. So we use these goals. We map our program of inquiry, our concept-based learning, against our EYFS goals. Now, the different types of activities I mentioned a little bit. A lot of song and dance, a lot of storytelling, a lot of sensory experiences, and then smart steps, games, and activities. So different obstacle courses at the playground, different things where the teachers are getting the children involved. I mean, we've literally just had recently, we had a big Halloween celebration. We've talked about Thanksgiving. We have the holidays coming up. I mean, there's so many different powerful activities and experiences that the kids engage in. But the small group time is where we set up different activities that the children can explore. And then at circle time is where we really read stories and sing songs and have conversations about some of those concepts. So things and some of those EYFS goals. So early number recognition, literacy, reading stories, asking the children questions about what they see, what they know, what they think, right? So because language is really starting to explode at this age. So yeah.
Thank you, Charlie. So another question is, how do I know if my child is progressing as a parent?
Yeah, good question. I mentioned there's a lot of ways that we give feedback and track progress. So, of course, on a day-to-day basis, you can touch base with our teachers through Illimine if you have any questions. For example, like and this is for preschool as well. So like today, our preschool children, they did an excursion with Backyard Gang because Woodland partners with different community organizations. Backyard Gang does outdoor education for children. So our children went to Aberdeen Country Park, our preschool children. They learned about the outdoors and did team building in the outdoors. And it was so cool. And we have this platform, right? So we take photos, and we obviously respect data privacy, but they posted a lot of these photos on our Illimine platform. So the parents could get live, up-to-date kind of updates about the children's learning, and they can see for themselves. So we have Illimine where you can communicate directly, even if you're going to be late for school, or you need to take leave today because your child's sick, or you were supposed to bring in pajamas for pajama day, but you just want to clarify. We have also something called Tapestry. I mentioned that's where we post observations on a weekly basis about children's development. So Mikey was being such a great friend today to Joey. Right, he was sharing the different the protected behaviors characters that we have. They were doing puppet role play together, and he was showing a lot of empathy and showing a lot of care for his feelings. You notice he was upset, so he went and grabbed a tissue, and tried, and that showed that he could understand that his friend was sad. Right, so these moments we capture and we observe and we share with parents. But then more on just a big picture perspective. We do assessments against the EYFS internally, and we share progress with parents about how they're meeting their child development goals. And we have 2 progress reports, like I mentioned, per year, and 2 learning conferences. So there's plenty of touch points for sharing progress. And then we, just on a general sense, we have newsletters bi-weekly basis. So the teachers send home these really lovely newsletters that have photos of what's been going on in class, what the children have been learning, how they've been learning, and just kind of, photos of different excursions or different things that they've been doing.
Thank you, Charlie. One more question for you, and the other one is for me. So how do we help as a parent for the transition period? Kind of like if a child is like constantly crying. So as a parent, what can they help?
Yeah, I think, this is big because Stepping Stones is really about developing self-regulation, co-regulating children so that they can regulate themselves. That should be the goal. And one of the things you can do is stay calm. I mean, it sounds so simple, but it's very easy to get stressed yourself when your child is upset in front of you. But we need to understand that, these are little people, and these are little people that think and feel, and they have the permission to do that. So one of the things that you can do is you can understand, this is an upset child. He's undergoing a lot of stress. There's stress in the environment. Maybe it's the transition. Maybe the lights are too bright. Could be anything. Maybe he has to go to the bathroom, right? But big questions that we can ask is why and why now, and what can I do to help this child calm down? And one of the big things you can do is to remain calm. And because children pick up on your energy, but namely, some other things that I mentioned in the presentation: be consistent, have a consistent drop-off routine. Routines and rituals are a big part of the Stepping Stones class. So the teachers are establishing very healthy routines and rituals because the brain is pattern seeking. If the brain has patterns and predictability, it can help feel more calm for children. So there's other techniques, but I would say those are big ones.
Thank you, Charlie. That question coming is for me. So what does Mandarin look like in class? So as Mr. Charlie said, we have a Mandarin TA in the class supporting children in 3 hours. So what is the environmental Mandarin mean? Is the Mandarin teacher assistant. She is providing Mandarin exposure within these 3 hours. The reason why we want this happen in the class, because we want children to feel comfortable with an additional language. Having an additional language exposure, we go with what is happening to the child now to them. So when they go into class, they say hello to their teachers, they say hello to their friends. What they do, they hang up their school bag. So go with their daily languages, with the environment, let them feel more comfortable. And then the teacher will be freely sitting down to read story with them or sing songs, dance with them, go with the Mandarin language, starting with small and then make it more casual and sweet.
Yeah, and somebody asked a question about, just an example of what I saw the other day in class, about like what are some things that they learn, what are some activities. We were talking about community the other day, and communities and cultures, right, and what that means for children and what that means for others. So they read a story about the people that help us, the people that live around us, what are their roles and responsibilities, right? And then there was a different setup where they had these different, I think it was different animals, and this beautiful setup where there's these different animal toys and like this very natural environment with dinosaurs and things and some other aspects in this little community, right? And it's talking about what are the roles, how are these animals helping the others, what can we do, can we build a little house together or some shelter or go using role play to talk about that. So again, talking about these ideas in a large group sense and then bringing it down to their small world. Yeah.
Thank you, Charlie. There's another question just came up. Is there any English only class option for Stepping Stone?
For our Stepping Stones program, no, there isn't. But that's a good question. Yeah, the only stream right now that we have for Stepping Stones is a class led by an English teacher and the Mandarin teaching assistant. But that doesn't mean that Mandarin teaching assistant is speaking Mandarin the entire time, especially if a child's upset and needing support. We understand that children are acquiring language, but if they're red brain and they're very upset and they need just a hand to hold and they need to calm down, the teacher can go down and speak to that child in English as well. So we're very respectful of people's wishes, of their language backgrounds, but generally, no. The dynamic of the class is a Mandarin teaching assistant and led by an English teacher.
Yes, we honor their mother tongue, especially when they just settle in the new environment and the new teachers, new places. We start with their mother tongue to make them feel more comfortable.
But yeah, it is like learning in two languages does just wonders for your brain, especially the developing brain of a young child. They may not stick with Chinese for the rest of their life. And children leave Woodland with different levels, depending on the background at home, the support that they get. But still, the thinking and the cognitive activity and being able to understand and think in two different cultures, right? Or because language is a lot more than words. It represents a lot more than that as well. So there is a lot of great cognitive activity going on that affects other parts of the brain that are very important for preschool and beyond.
Yeah, we can also prepare them for going into preschool 1 class, right? We have bilingual and English immersion classes. Yeah. So I think our question is that's all we have. Charlie.
Great. Listen, I covered a lot. This went a little bit longer than I thought it would, but some great questions. I just want to thank everybody for your time. You know, we put this on because it's digital. It's easy for people to log on. I look forward to continuing these conversations. You can find me at Pak Phulam in Kennedy Town. I'm also involved in the development of the education at Woodland, so I'm always happy to answer any questions you have. And reach out to our admissions team and reach out to your heads of school if you're already with us, and we're happy to support you and your Woodland journey. So thank you so much for joining us today. I want to thank my colleagues, Michelle and Danny, and we really appreciated your time, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you, everyone.